And lawmakers across the aisle have also swiftly condemned reports of anti-Semitism at Columbia on their New York campus. Among them is my next guest, Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz of Florida. He toured the campus today along with several other Jewish House Democrats. Congressman, thank you very much for making time to be with us tonight. As we're coming into this interview with you, Columbia announcing that they are going to close the campus to in-person classes until the end of the semester, which is scheduled to be next week. That's a pretty extraordinary indictment of what is going on that campus right now. My understanding is that you were there for part of the day today, and you had a pretty stark message that you think that there is a double standard when it comes to protecting Jewish communities from anti-Semitism. What makes you say that?
Well, thanks, Abby. Thanks for having me. Thanks for talking about this on the eve of Passover. So let me say a couple of things. First is I was at the university today, and it's clear to me that while they are establishing a perimeter outside the university, once inside the university, there is almost no security. They have completely lost control of the situation and are just letting it ride, which now you've confirmed by this new policy that they're just going to try to run the clock out by going fully virtual at the end of the year. I can tell you, between the students wearing masks and them going full virtual, bringing back the policies of COVID is not going to slow the spread of anti-Semitism. But I'll tell you what I meant when I said that on campus today. Tonight at Passover, this was the conversation around the table. Families are together, extended families are together, and what's going on at Columbia and what they're watching happen now at NYU as it spreads around the city. This is the conversation, and Jewish parents are asking this question because I talk to them whose students go to Columbia. The question they're asking is, they feel that if this was a minority group, a protected minority group, which Jews are not, they don't think that this would have gotten past lunchtime on the first day. But for Jews, because we don't fit in this box, even though there's only 15 million of us, in the country, at the end of the day, we're looked at as differently. And that's why universities have struggled with this. Because yes, while there is protected speech, free speech, hate speech is not protected. And we are well into the realm of hate speech, right? I mean, let's just look at what's happening. We were mad years ago when we saw Charlottesville and Jews will not replace us, and Donald Trump saying good people on both sides, or Mexicans are rapists, right? But somehow we don't have the same anger of go back to Poland. My grandfather's entire family was killed in Poland. He was the sole survivor, right? All Zionists should be killed. Bomb Tel Aviv. I know the people saying this aren't, white Aryan males with tiki torches, but they have the same message. These students that are participating in this, and it's not all of them, but the students that are allowing this to go on with the Hamas flags, letting these people onto campus, the professors that are participating in this, it's the same message, which is Jews are not welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I think you raised such an important point, which is maybe it's not everyone, but if there are some people in the ranks doing that, should they be expelled? Should there be a willingness to do that? I wonder what you think about the university's leadership in this moment. Do you think, as some of your Republican colleagues do, that the Columbia president should actually resign as a result of how this has been handled?
Well, I mean, listen, I don't like guilt by association, but if I was participating in a protest and I was trying to do it peacefully, right, and my ceasefire now protest became a bomb Tel Aviv protest, maybe I would leave. Or if we were holding up the Palestinian flag and all of a sudden people started screaming pro-Hamas things, maybe I would leave. But that's not what happened, Abby. That's not what happened. They were integrated, and it took 5 days for them to make a statement saying, oh, that's not us. The only reason they made that statement is because they're losing the narrative, because unfortunately they're being exposed. And so, look, what should happen to the university president? Here's what I recommend to the president of Columbia. I don't know what the right thing to do is, but if she wants to know what the wrong thing to do is, she can call the former presidents of Harvard and UPenn, who let this nonsense go on their campuses. And Columbia is way past those two universities. And so while I want students to be able to protest, while I want them to be able to point out injustices, while I want them to be able to talk about people in Gaza, because that is something we should talk about. We should talk about October 7th, and we should talk about humanitarian aid. We should talk about a two-state solution. We should talk about a ceasefire in exchange for release of hostages.
Yeah.
But that is not what is going on. What's going on is anti-Semitism to make Jews not welcome. When it was announced that classes were going virtual and thus Jews weren't going to be on campus, these students celebrated. It's not anti-Semitic. It's not anti-Semitic to disagree with Israel. But if you're only pointing out Jewish kids, if they see a Jewish kid on campus and then they go after that Jewish kid, right, and surround him and blame him for Netanyahu, they targeted that Jewish kid. That's anti-Semitism.
Congressman Jared Moskowitz of Florida, thanks for being here tonight and staying up very late for us, but we needed to hear what you saw today on Columbia's campus. Thank you.